So every major government agency, at your expense, publishes hundreds of pages of guidelines that promote absurd anti-white woke propaganda. The Wall Street Journal just obtained documents from NASA which warn of something called micro inequities. They also learned that the Department of Veterans Affairs has a, quote, gender gingerbread person. It's also depressing if you think about it. It's one thing if it's happening at the Small Business Association, but if it's happening at the Pentagon, it's a huge problem, and it is. The Army now advises soldiers not to have any, quote, discomfort showering with a female who has male genitalia. Really? So some dude's going to get in the shower with you pretending to be a girl, and if you don't like it, you're the weirdo. So a lot of soldiers are just leaving over all of this. Ivan Raiklin is one of them. He served 25 years as both lieutenant colonel and a Green Beret. But the moment the Pentagon started promoting vax mandates and equity training, he left. He retired. Now, we asked him about that decision, a very sad decision from his point of view, in a brand new episode of Tucker Carlson Today. Here's part of the conversation.
We've gone away from the focus of fighting and winning our nation's wars and defending the Constitution. If we get back to that, I think we'll be in a better position to start to repel from foreign adversaries, which I kind of pivoted and talked about. Namely, obviously the biggest one is China. Also, Russia is helping and advise, I would argue, to make sure it expedites our demise. Iran is probably right there, not in a close third, but in third place.
Do you know the answer? You raised a really interesting point when you said if you're going to remind the entire military force what its job is, which is to defend the Constitution. And that's
you have to know the Constitution.
Thank you.
So if I ask the question of Secretary Austin, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Milley, if I ask you, General, what are you going to do when the 25th Amendment's violated? Oh, you don't know what the 25th Amendment is? How about, what are you going to do when the 12th Amendment's violated? Oh, you don't know that one? Let me go to the base document. What about Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2? Or Article 1, Section 4? Most of these people are going to look at you like deer in the headlights. I have no clue what you're talking about. The thing is that our entire institutions have been, through the media, have pushed this, whether it's all three branches of federal government, even at the state level, have been pushing this narrative to make people think that this is actually the extremism thing is a thing, and it only applies to one side of the political ideology. And so, in a sense, some folks are convinced that that's true, even though it's not. It's not based on fact. Others know that critical thinkers, I would say, majority of my network is in the special ops and intel community, and those that are even lean left of center, when I present the evidence in a very deliberate, systematic manner, they know where I stand ideologically, they'll agree with the conclusion, which does not align with what's being promulgated at the top. But they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to lose their benefits. It all comes down to that. It all comes down to safety, security, and they're willing to bend and budge on their moral, ethical, and even legal principles.
You can stream that full conversation on Fox Nation right now. Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson Tonight.